to a little bit of a late start meeting of the Ware Board of Selectmen, starting at 6:34, I think it is. We'll do a roll call of members on the Board of Selectmen members present. Chairman Hippo is here. Vice Chairman Meany?
Here.
Selectman Burdick?
Here.
Selectman Van?
Here.
Selectman Osborne?
Yeah.
Gang's all here. Okay, we will start with me finding a pen. That'd be a good start. Okay. Call to order. We will now move on to public comment. I believe we have a couple on here for public comment. Frank, you got anything? It doesn't.
I do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Travis? Travis, we can't hear you. Your mouth's moving, but we don't have any.
How about now?
All right, that's better.
Excellent. Let's see. I've got a few words to get through, but I'll speak quickly and get it done so you can get on with the rest. This is on the topic of Lori Davis's non-reappointment to the Conservation Committee. Last year, Ms. Davis was a member of the Town Finance Committee and also in her personal capacity, a member of the political group, the Ware Taxpayers Coalition. The members of the Ware Taxpayers Coalition, exercising their First Amendment right to speak to other citizens, issued a voter guide which recommended against certain warrant articles. One of the warrant articles, number 10, was criticized in the following terms. Non-union town employee pay raises. It is a 3% increase, with just 3 of the highly paid employees receiving over $6,800 of this sum. This raise is much higher than the 1.3% increase in the cost of living rate in 2020. And it goes on from there. Shortly after the WTC issued this voting guide, a Ware town employee, using town resources and a town email address, sent the following email to Ms. Davis. I was just shared this from a resident, and I find it unbelievably disgraceful. It's pretty obvious with your name attached that you don't truly appreciate anything that I or others that work here do. First, I've got a 2-part question for the Board of Selectmen for afterwards, and I'd ask them to answer it. Is it part of the job duties of town employees to criticize the politics and spending priorities of town residents? And does the fact that this email comes from an official ware.nh.gov email address mean that this statement, that being against tax increases is unbelievably disgraceful, mean that this is an official pronouncement of the town of Ware government? Certainly being told by a government employee using official government channels that one's opinions are unbelievably disgraceful creates what the Supreme Court has called a chilling effect. The idea that one's exercise of free speech are being monitored, judged, and found wanting by a government employee may create an environment where citizens become afraid to exercise their rights. I have a second question for the BOS. Have they asked legal counsel about the town's legal exposure created by town employees berating citizens for their opinions? The chilling effect caused by the impression that certain political opinions are unacceptable to our government is bad enough, but perhaps Ms. Davis misconstrued them. Perhaps being told that her spending priorities are unbelievable disgraceful, that is shameful, disreputable, and creating scandal, was not an actual threat that there would be repercussions for her speech. Maybe she has misread the tone of the email, and that was meant neutrally or even positively. But then, a week after the town told Ms. Davis that her opinions were disgraceful, the town government chose to remove Ms. Davis from her seat on the Conservation Commission, where she has served for years. I'm about half done. I'm going quick. This suggests to a disinterested observer that the chilling effect of being denounced by the town government for exercising one's First Amendment rights was not merely incidental or accidental, but was calculated and intentional. Perhaps again, this is a misreading of the situation. Perhaps being reprimanded for disagreeing with the spending priorities and also being thrown off of a board is a coincidence. The BOS does not have the ability to throw a member off of a board before the term expires, but it certainly has the right to not reappoint someone. I agree with that. So I have a third question. In the history of Ware, has any other member of a board who has wanted to be reappointed, not been reappointed? I believe, after asking around, that the answer is no, thus suggesting that what we see is exactly intentional punishment for speech. I understand that this has been framed by the BOS as an ethics issue. I've asked around and I've been unable to find any list of rules that define what sorts of speech are acceptable and what sorts are unacceptable to the BOS. Thus, a fourth question. Can the BOS point to an existing set of speech regulations, or can it clarify in the near future what types of opinions board members are allowed to have? Then a final question, and then I'll be done. If the BOS is now taking up the matter of policing the ethics of the members of various boards, will this policy apply to members of all boards, and to whom should citizens report violations of various state laws by sitting board members? Thank you.
Okay. Travis, is there any way, that was a lot and it was
Yep.
very fast and I do appreciate it. Is there any way that, is there any way that you can, email that to the board?
Absolutely. And I apologize. I started typing 15 minutes ago and I finished typing 1 minute ago. So this was last minute and slapdash. I do have the official email addresses from the website, and I'd be happy to email that if that works for you.
Yeah, that way then we can clarify.
Great.
Like I said,
Okay.
a lot of information very quickly. So I just wanted to
Absolutely. And
get it all
I
right.
appreciate your tolerating that verbal onslaught. So thank you very much for your time. I'll send that email.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, there being, oh,
Hi, Ricky.
Lori. Hi, Lori.
It's Lori Davis. I just figured out how to push the button.
Okay, I just see it on there just before I cancel it. So go ahead.
I understand that there seems to be a lot of misinformation going on out there. First and foremost, I think it's important to realize that we had a board of selectmen that went rogue way before anybody who belonged to the finance committee made a difference on budgets. And the board of selectmen, of which some are still sitting there, did absolutely nothing, nor were there any questions about it. And that would be Tom Cloud. Secondly, First Amendment rights are very important. And the ethics code has nothing to do with somebody having an opinion and doing something else. I enjoy very much being on the Conservation Committee. I've put a lot of time in learning about it. I think you will find that I have been an asset to the group. I'm not sure what the Board of Selectmen's idea is in not appointing, but looking at what's going on with Neil, and then the text message or the email I got from Naomi Bolton after the statement from the Taxpayers Coalition came out, and it says, I was just shared this from a resident and find it unbelievably disgraceful. It's pretty obvious with your name attached that you don't truly appreciate anything I or others work here do. No town employee has any business attacking a town resident at any time. Residents do have opinions, and we don't have to agree with you, even if we sit on a committee. I'm very concerned about not being reappointed, and I'm concerned in the direction that we're going. It's very important that everybody in this town should feel that they have the right to vocalize their own personal opinions, as well as still having a voice in the town and being able to participate. When one group of people decides that they're going to silence another group for having taken a difference of opinion, that becomes more of a question of control as opposed to listening to residents. And the residents have a right to disagree with the Board of Selectmen, and it should not affect their appointment. And I respectfully ask the Board of Selectmen to take their personal irritation out of not everybody being impressed with how they go and do things, and respect that we all work hard to try and help the town in our own ways, even if you disagree with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Any other public comment? Okay, we'll move on then. Jot some notes. Okay. Department head committee items. Police chief and Benji are on. Don't all step forward at once. Either of you have anything?
I do. I have two quick things.
Okay.
Use of force policy. I put that out to various groups. It's going to be a go. We're going to implement that tomorrow. If any citizen would like to review it, we are posting certain policies to our new police department's webpage. It will be posted there under the chief tab. Number two, patrol PC, which is our computer in the vehicle. As you know, because those have a 5-year life cycle, I put the purchase of a patrol PC in our budget rather than in the warrant article for the Tahoe. That's the only cost currently associated with the Tahoe that wasn't in the warrant article. Because the budget failed, I do not have money for the MDT to purchase a new one. We can roll, and the plan was to roll the MDT from vehicle 6 into the Tahoe. It has 2 years left on its life cycle. However, it was quite a bit more than what I thought. The cost to do that is $697.04 to take it out of vehicle 6 and put it in the Tahoe. And that's with 2 years left. So we're looking at an 11, and a new one is about $6,000. So 11.6% of the cost just to move it for 2 years rather than purchase a new one. I would have money in my end of year budget to purchase a new one. It's just a matter of figuring out which direction the board would like me to go on that.
Chief, when you say move the old one, and I think I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyways. When you say move the old one, and then if you were to purchase a new one, would the MDT docking device be the same for the new computer as the old, or would you have to buy a new one?
I believe it's a new one. I don't have that quote in front of me for the Tahoe, but since the docking station's in a Ford and it's going to a Chevy, I don't think it's the same. It could be generic, and I've got 3 quotes last year. All of them were right about $6,000. I think one was 58, one was 6, and one was just over 6. And that was going in 2 Dodges, or actually that was all 3 Dodges. So they do vary just slightly.
Okay.
Chief, if you decide to replace with the new one for $6,000, if you find your money for that, what's going to happen to the one that you took out of car 6 with 2 years life left?
Still use it. It's still active. I'm not the only one, despite what people think, I'm not the only one who uses vehicle 6. Frequently it's taken for training. It's taken for court. It's taken to go to Manchester because we store documents down there. When that's the case, the officer who's using the vehicle will log on to the computer just to have it up and running, because they'll be on a message and can use it if anything comes up. So it is still active. It is still in use. It's just that if we didn't buy one this year, we'd be buying 2 in 2 years is all it is. Life cycle management, we have 5 computers. We need 1 a year. It's just getting us on track and keeping us on track with that.
I think my gut feeling is let's switch over from, let's go ahead and move that other one from car 6 to the Tahoe, just because it is going to be a very tight year financially, and we need to watch where we're spending money. 600 versus 6,000, as you said, it's quite the difference.
Yep.
I would lean to agree, Chief. With
Okay,
John.
no problem. That's what I was looking for. Just give me a sense of direction. We'll make it happen.
Any other board members want to speak towards it?
I agree also.
Well, there's your
I
answer,
agree
Chief.
also.
Okay, sounds good. We'll make it happen. Appreciate y'all's time.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Bye.
And Benji, did you have anything?
Yes, I believe I was here to speak on the boat ramp real quickly.
Okay.
Um,
You took a look at it, I take it, obviously.
I did. So the entire boat ramp going down to just before the hole in the boat ramp, it's a paved boat ramp, and it has fewer cracks in it than any of my roads. It's in great shape. It's got a big hole at the very end from what I'd assume be from jet wash or whatever, people giving the boat some extra gas to get on their trailers. So I measured it, and it's about 10 feet up from the end of the boat ramp. So, and the boat ramp is 18 feet wide. So if I were to saw cut straight across the boat ramp at the top of the hole, it would be a patch of about 18 feet wide by 10 feet long. And I got a quote for the pavement of $1,000 to fix that. And I would have to fix the hole, put some sort of stone riprap in the hole, but I would think it would be far ahead of tearing out perfectly good boat ramp and putting in something else, especially where I understand there's limited amount of money in that account anyway.
Right. And you said that would be asphalt over that?
Yeah, that's what's there now is asphalt. So.
Okay. All right.
So it's an asphalt boat
How
ramp.
long does asphalt last in an environment like that?
I think if you
I
looked
don't
at
know,
it,
it's better than any of my roads in town. It's asphalt now.
I went out there today and looked at it and actually stood in the water and looked at it from the water end back towards the boat ramp. That asphalt is sitting on concrete. There's a chunk of concrete that's at the end of just beyond the end of that asphalt where it sticks out. And that hole, I think, is part of it's the jet wash, but standing back beyond that hole, it looked like all the gravel and everything is washed out there and it's a lot shallower. That'd have to be pulled back into that hole, I would say. And then, but that's sitting on top of concrete because I don't think if you just put straight asphalt in there, there's too much flex to it with the water. I think what's going to happen is just going to break up again.
Well, I'd venture to guess that it was a concrete boat ramp, and when it went to hell, they paved over it.
Yeah, they paved over the concrete as it cracked and whatever else, but there's a chunk of it missing now on that back end. You can see where it's like broken off and worn off.
Right, it washed off the concrete. But,
So I would
mean,
say
it's crazy
probably
to tear
put
that
some
whole
more.
out there.
I think if you're going to pave into that hole, which is another 10 feet or whatever beyond that, you know, where it ends, I think you're going to have to put something more than just gravel.
Well, you'd have to put some rock in there. I mean,
Oh,
we pulled rock into that before. I remember when that was concrete.
and I think the concrete's finally gone, and that's why the asphalt's gone. I think if you put concrete in there and then put the asphalt to it, I mean, I think that's when you're going to end up with that's going to bind better than it would now. But I mean, the water's come back in just since the rain yesterday. I mean, it's
I'm
right
sure.
up there. Yeah.
But I think the goal, Jack, of Benji here is to try and keep the cost down because our budget is tight this year, and he said that. So I think we're trying to put a patch on it for, I would say, this year. You know, obviously, you know, to prepare it and do it correctly, I'm sure Benji will agree that, you know, that you have to really bring the water down even further, probably dig out what's left out there as far as sand and probably what little pebbles are out there, and put a better bed down to it, put concrete on it, obviously, you know, engineered drawings and stuff, and then put asphalt over it, and we would never have to worry about it again as long as we're on the board. So, but I think Benji's idea is myself is more of a, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, is you know, put some 3-inch gravel in there and get it firmed up again, and just put, you know, just cover that hole up for $1,000.
I fixed that hole before. I mean, I don't know, other than getting permits and carrying a boat ramp further into the lake in the future, how you get away with, you know, get out of that happening. But I would probably put some little more substantial rock in there, maybe some riprap or something down deep. But you know, the flexing thing, it appears to me there's no flex in there because it's gravel underneath it. So when the water is out in the winter, there's not going to be any heaving because the water is going to be drained out from under it. And in the summertime, it's underwater. So there's not even a crack in the rest of the boat ramp. There's not even nothing that you could crack seal. It's just where they give the boat some to get up on the trailers. And I don't know how I mean, suppose you could fill that hole right full of concrete and maybe it would last longer. I mean, we could search that avenue, box that out and pour concrete, but I don't know. I'd have to get prices on that. I went and looked at it Friday and got a quick estimate from our last year paving company. And that's what I got for price was $1,000 to fix it. So it'd take about 3 yards of pavement. And I pave it thick, probably 4 inches. So it might be a little more than 3 because I told them to figure it 3 inches. I probably pave it a little thicker.
Would they be able to do it before they start raising the water level?
Yes, I told them it had to be done before May 12th. So yes.
Naomi, I don't have the numbers in front of me. What's the budget allowance for maintenance for either Parks and Rec or Chase Park specifically?
Well, the last time we talked about this, when Janine and Lisa were on, I got a text afterwards saying there was $3,000 in Chase Park. But
Okay.
the permit costs you 400 and it's good for 5 years.
Okay, thank you.
The hole that is there now is bad. If you got a big trailer that you got to back that far in the water, now the hole's down near the end of the boat ramp. So if you have, or the dock rather, I should have tried to figure out how to get all them pictures to you guys. I took some on my cell phone, but it's down near the end of the dock. So you'd have to have a bigger boat to go in the water that far to start with. But if you do, your axle's dropping that hole, it's going to be a big deal. It's a pretty mean hole. It needs to be fixed for sure. But I looked at that set of plans, and the silt fence is going to cost the $3,000 that you got allotted. Never mind. I can't imagine what those prefab things cost to set in there. So I didn't have a chance to price all that out. So I just was offering this quick fix. You don't want to do it, it's fine by me. But we'd have to let the water go down this spring. You know, rain season anyway. Like Jack said, the lake's up. I know the water is 8 inches over the boards down here at my house today because of all the rain we got. So we'd have to let the water go out a little bit anyway because the construction area is above the low water line at the moment.
And that's exactly it, Benji. I think it's a temporary repair you're trying to perform. Obviously, to do it right, it would be, you know, like you said, silt fence and concrete and forms and everything else to put it together. And massive amount of money to make it right, to last for eons. But I would be in agreement with what, you know, what Benji's put forward as far as digging that out a little bit, getting some good stone, you know, some material that underneath that is going to set up pretty decent, and putting $1,000 worth of asphalt over it. Myself, to bridge the gap of keeping it safe and usable. You know, I think that's, and we'll probably get a couple years out of it. I get it. But it's a patch. It's not permanent repair. We still got that permit. We have the permit, and we still need to draft up plans and get a quote together anyways. And maybe that's something that goes on the warrant for next year. I don't know. Yeah, I'll take a consensus. What's that? Go ahead, John.
It does, but I also think because I noticed some marinas up around Lake Winnipesaukee, they've got signs up that when you load your boat, you nudge it onto the trailer and you shut your motor off and winch it onto the trailer itself. That would definitely help.
That's the whole start of the problem, John, like you just
Yeah, I
said.
know, it is.
I mean, the original boat ramp was concrete and they paved over it. So obviously the concrete didn't do no better. I mean, it's just,
right.
That's the problem. And I don't know how to fix that problem. I'm not,
No,
I know Parks and Rec don't have manpower enough. Never mind someone babysit someone loading their boat. But if you put a sign up, maybe.
I mean, that might be something that, you know, as each boat is put in the water, the people that are up there can put forth that when you come out of the water, you winch the boat onto the trailer. You don't sit there and put it right up to full rev to try to get it on the trailer. That would save it some. I don't know if it would work or not, but might be.
Yeah, well, I don't disagree. Well, I don't disagree with you, John, at all. I think exactly what Benji said is the staffing so short. I don't think they'd be able to get down there to really monitor every one of them that comes in and out.
Right, and you wouldn't. It would be pretty much the honor system. I understand that.
I mean, any responsible boat owner knows that, you know, you don't do that, you know. And
well,
then,
you use some fancy words just then. Responsible.
Yeah, responsible. The
Right.
other thing is that the bottom line of it is, you know, even if you had somebody there, you got to look at the person who's going to be at the park. What, a 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid, 16-year-old kid dealing with somebody that's probably 30s. You know, that we've seen how that went. We had an incident last year, so we'll see how well that would go. So, I mean, you're putting these kids, and if you don't have enough adults with something else, you're going to be putting these kids in a heck of a position.
Right.
And I don't want to do that either.
Maybe just a cheap sign to ask people to pay attention. And I don't know, it's going to happen again. Obviously it's happened before. I fixed that hole before, just put gravel in it a long time ago when maybe we didn't you write paperwork, but it's been like this before, so. Anyway, I mean, I do whatever you guys want. I just, tear that old boat ramp out for one. I'm telling you, there isn't even a stress crack in it. It's better than the roads I paved last year, and it's going to cost more than $3,000. So I just was trying to think outside the box a little bit, and I said, boy, this was an intersection on one of my roads. I just saw cut that and fix it, and if you get 2 years out of it, then do it again. I mean, because the rest of my labor's free, obviously, to the town. We're get paid to fight or march, so doesn't matter if I work for the highway or you guys.
I think we ought to have the, get the permit process started if Naomi already hasn't done that, and then go forward with this option as a temporary fix for the next year or two, or however long it lasts until we can get the funding, whether it be through CIP or through a warrant article.
Right, I agree with John. I think that's the best thing. We got the permit started. See if we can't, get some ideas and plans drawn up. Again, on the down low on the money, just because of the budgetary confinements. But and I guess, John, and you're the ex officio there. I think I'm hard pressed to say put that entire burden on that maintenance line, that $3,000, where we haven't even opened a park yet, any of them, and they're already starting at 50%. I just don't know if that's wise.
I hear you, and I definitely want to get them involved, but we also have a very short period of time that we need to that we have to make a decision before the water level comes up too.
No, I don't disagree with that either.
Maybe, well, it's going to be what, 2 weeks, I believe, to get a permit. Is that correct, Naomi?
Yeah, what you have to do is I have the permit ready because you remember last time you had asked me to
Yep.
see how long the length of time was, and that's 5 years if you get approval. And
Yep.
you're looking at a boat ramp repair. What you're talking about is a grander scheme, which it's probably going to not just require a permit by notification for a repair. It's probably going to have to go a little bit deeper than that with DES. But to answer your question is, yes, you either authorize the chair to sign it, you can authorize myself on your behalf, or we can send the check right out, and it's 10 days at DES.
When I asked Naomi why it would be grander scheme, because it's about 100 times less work than the original plan.
Well, if you look at the requirements for DES, and that's a DES requirement, you look at it and there's only X amount of feet you could do with a repair versus if you're going to expand it or completely redo it, it's going to be a little bit more money. But I don't know how big of a repair we want to do if it goes outside the total square footage.
Well, the original repair was 5 times what I'm presenting, 4 times. I'm presenting 10 feet, and he wanted to do the whole thing.
Yeah, he put in the 1,550 feet was the square footage, which it's supposed to be 1,500 feet, but the disturbance that you're looking at doing is like 675-ish or something like that.
So half.
Yeah.
So it should be the same thing. I mean,
So, right. So to answer just your question, though, it's going to be at least 2 weeks, regardless of who signs the application. It's going to be 2 weeks to get DES. What happens is you send it over to DES because it's really by notification. And if there is something wrong with the application, they'll let us know. But if you don't hear from them, then you just go ahead and do it. Because it's by notification. You're not waiting on. We did that at the Snowmobile Club. We did a trail notification, and they don't ever let you know anything. No news is good news is how it was working.
right. It's just this is way less, so I would think they would be okay with it. It's not.
Oh, I don't think at all they'll have a problem with it. It is less. And I found out today when you and I talked on Friday, I didn't realize it could be in kind. That was shared with me today. I thought we had to do cement because that's what I've always been, any boat ramp that I had seen. But
Yeah.
if we can do, I told him we had asphalt and he said as long as it was in kind, and he put those in quotes.
Yeah, so it'd be even easier that way. So I think with the time restraints, you got 1 month, that's gonna be the way to go this year, and then price all that.
It may
other
get you
stuff out.
several years.
All
Right.
right.
So
I
do
mean,
we need to make a
definitely
motion?
Definitely gotta hope it stops raining for a week, because like Jack said, the low water level's up pretty high at the moment. But you said we got till May 12th. I told the paving company they had to be there by May 12th, and doesn't mean they're gonna be our paving company this year, but they said they'd come do that, and
Mhm.
Because
other
May
than-
12th is when Parks and Rec said they put the boards back in for the water to start to seep back up.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So do we need to make a motion for Naomi to get the application?
I have
I
the
bel-
application all done. It just needs to be signed, and you guys have the check in your manifest this week.
I'll make a motion that we allow Naomi to sign the application to DES for the boat ramp. Yeah.
I'll second it.
second that. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, roll call, or yes? Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes,
Selectman Burdick,
Yes.
Selectman Osborne,
Yes,
Selectman Van.
Yes.
Okay,
And second, I'd like to invite Janine and Lisa from Parks and Rec at our next scheduled board meeting to discuss the finances of the repair.
can we do something a little sooner? The reason I ask because of time constraints. Maybe
Well,
we
if we're
can,
not going to have a permit for a couple of weeks,
well, I'm just thinking for the funding method, you know.
what our next scheduled is the
Next
5th.
Monday.
The 5th. Yeah.
It's up to you guys. Like I said, I just want to make sure that we get this done. That's all. And, you know, obviously May 12th is just, you know, a blink of an eye away at this point.
As soon as Naomi tells me that it's a go, I'll just do it and get reimbursed for something later.
I'm open any night this week, Ricky.
All right. The only one I have a commitment to is tomorrow night. So the rest of the week I'm open though. I'm just thinking that like you said, we need to have their involvement. As far as it's their budget, they ought to have a say. And maybe we can even think outside the box as a board, to maybe offset it a little bit. I'm not talking, you know, swallow the whole cost, but offset it a little bit maybe.
I mean, I still think, Ricky, by time the check's dated for Thursday, so I can't really do much before Thursday.
Oh, no, I'm not talking the $400. I'm talking the actual repair.
Well, right, but then by time I put it in the mail Monday night, you give the girls the weekend, this is just my thought, to look over where they could come up with it and maybe pawn around the idea. I think Monday night works, but whatever you guys want to do, because I think by time DES gets it, it's gonna be 2 Monday nights from now.
All right.
By
Well, we
time
can just
it's
wait till next
approved.
Monday. It's fine. We can just wait till next Monday. It's fine. That works for me.
Okay.
Thank you, Benji, for thinking outside the box and going that route.
Definitely agree.
We're
Hey,
gonna
can
go
I-
cut the trees that I feel that we can cut with no problem before they open. There's lots of trees flagged over there, so I'll send a crew over. We can't cut them all.
All around the park.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess before I leave, just remind everybody it's mud season. We're working. I had crews out Saturday, Sunday. Today I had crews out doing trees. Class 6 roads are not the town of Ware's responsibility. Doesn't mean I don't feel bad. You gotta drive through mud, but I start fixing one, I'm gonna have to fix them all, so. I don't know what to say about that. I've got a little bit of flack from the usual class 6 road in town, and I think when variances are given, maybe the phone numbers should be given too, because people don't understand that they're not maintained by us. And it's been a bad mud season and we're getting through it. It's almost over. Hang on.
Well, I actually encountered a couple of the crews out on the weekend, and, you know, big shout out to them for coming in and helping us out on Saturday and Sunday on their time. Anybody else got anything for Benji?
I do before we leave. It's not anything to do with this, but we've got some posters up for the litter pickup for the end of April, first week in May, depending for a rain date. Just wondering if Ben has plenty of those blue bags to pass out. for
I
the
don't
litter
know. I gotta look, I guess. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
pick. Okay.
We haven't gotten any in a long time, so.
Well, we didn't do it last year. So I don't know what you had left, but we didn't do the litter pickup last year because of COVID. I didn't want to put people out.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, I guess. I'll have my guys look. I used to store them in a box trailer, but I haven't went and got any from the state in years. So we must be running out soon.
Well, I went over, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, I got like 5 boxes and what we had left, I gave to you. So I don't know if we use those up afterwards and I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Something to look into.
Yeah.
I'll look at
Okay,
it.
thank you. You're gonna look into that and let me know, Ben, or?
Yeah, I'll have the guys, I'll look, see if I can find the bags and just remember to give me the list of what roads getting picked up, because
Yeah,
that's the only
Yeah.
time we pick up roadside trash, so I'm not gonna
Yeah.
ride every looking.
yeah, there'll be a sign up sheet there.
Yep.
So they'll tell us, but most of the people take it anyway.
Oh, yeah, no, the usual thing, we do it every year. I don't know about the bags, I'll have to look. I have no idea.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, any other department heads on? I'll scroll my list here. I don't think there is. Nope, not that I can see. So we will move on. Get all my junk out of the way here. Here we go. All right, that brings us to the manifest. Oh, that would be me. All right. Move to order the treasurer to sign the payroll accounts payables checks dated April 1st, 2021, is including the following manifest. Payroll manifest is $61,228.52 for weekly and fire monthly payroll. And accounts payable manifest of $48,978.01 for a total of $110,206.53. Is there a second?
Second,
Been seconded. I'll do a roll call vote. Chairman Hippel, yes. Vice Chairman Meany.
yes.
Selectman Burdick.
Yes,
Selectman Osborne.
Yes,
Selectman Van.
Yes,
Perfect. All right, we'll move on to the minutes of 3/22. I just have to get them. Yes, I will blank out for a few minutes. Where is it? I know I downloaded it. There it is. All right, page 1. Anything on page 1? Page 2? Page 3? Four? And 5? Six? Seven? Eight? Nine? And 10. Is
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as written.
there a second?
second,
All in favor by roll call? Chairman Hippel, yes. Vice Chairman Meany?
Yes.
Selectman Burdick?
yes,
Selectman Van?
yes,
Selectman Osborne?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Brings us to the admin report. It's all you, Naomi.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my report.
I didn't get a chance to look at it, but I saw it when I came on Zoom tonight. but you're gonna go through it anyway.
Yeah, if I could find it. I'll wing it from my phone, I guess. I've got so much paper, I don't know where the heck I put it. Well, I'll just go through my papers. So if you recall, we have an MOA, I guess. Are you guys gonna make a motion on the MOA for the police department?
I make a motion that we authorize Chairman Hepler to sign on behalf of the Board of Selectmen the MOU for Police Department.
Is there a
I'll
second?
Second,
All in favor, roll call. Chairman Hipler, yes. Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick,
yes.
Selectman Van,
Yes.
Selectman Osborne. Selectman Osborne.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I sent, so I did send out an email as well to the Walker Roofing to get us in a schedule as determined or as mentioned by Tom Miller that he would have it done by April. Of course, I had to email and there was no response as to yes, you're on the schedule or no, you're not. So I'll keep on them, but I'm hoping, I think we had some doubters, but April 1st, the end of April, I'm hoping that we can be moved on from here. So while we're in the same vicinity of that, if you will, I sent for the town hall sign. I reached out to Clark Roberge to see kind of what his time frame was. And I know Benji's still on. He's supposed to reach out to Swenson Granite next week, which should be this week because the email's dated Tuesday. And he's thinking about mid-May that we can get this project concluded, which would be the new sign. At that point, I think we're gonna have to also look at maybe how we're gonna landscape it. And there was a discussion, if you remember, if you've ever used the sign, that you have to kind of balance on that little makeshift wall that was there. We're still gonna make it a board that you can, you know, it's gonna still have the message board to it. So we're gonna have to make sure that somebody can safely get up there and change letters as needed. Because what we had was pretty rickety that we let people do that. But I guess when we see the sign go up, we can have more of a discussion at that point. But he's looking at having it done in mid-May. And Benji's done some looking over there, and I think Benji's still gonna do the digging, I believe. That's the plan, right, Benji?
Yeah, just kind of waiting on the diameter and the depth. I guess there was confusion last fall by the installer, and as soon as I
Remember-
find that out, that way we dig in with the right depth. My idea was to put in an oversized sonotube. That way the hole wouldn't cave in, and they could put their granite in and chink it with stone. But
Right, because it says in the
I'll do
email
whatever
that,
he asked to do anyhow.
okay, because the email said the hole needs to be dug to 40 inches deep each. It doesn't, and then it said, and then others and I will widen the hole to 14-inch wide and grade the location to accommodate ladders and safety. And I think what he means by that is to put the sign up.
Okay, so 40 inches each, so you're getting two different length posts then?
Yeah, it must be, because the ones
I'm
in the.
thinking, yeah.
That's been the dilemma. I thought last year they were getting the same length, and I'd take the laser and make sure that the bottom of the holes was the same. I'll do however he wants. If you're getting two different lengths, that's fine, as long as I know. Whenever you want, I'll get them dug.
Well, I think it would have to be two different lengths because it's such a grade there.
Yeah, unless one was way out of the ground further. But yeah, no, that's fine. No problem, just as long as I know.
Okay.
And the landscape, and like you said, if we just put them in and kind of grade around them and let somebody more particular do their landscaping after the sign's up to match it to the sign, I think that would be the best idea.
Yeah, I think we'll have to talk about that, because I really think that if we're gonna be letting people use the sign and to have them, you know, teeter out there on those rickety rocks were really not the right thing to do, because, you know, they were icy and everything else when it rained and froze, but,
Right.
you know, we got through it, and that's where we are. So the other, I know, I sent you guys a forester agreement. I finished it up tonight. General services agreement that I will send back to Laura, and I'm also gonna send it over to the conservation. But I did send you, it actually originated from the town of Northwood. That's one that, if you recall back a while ago, Laura had said she'd share one with us that was kind of common to our size. And so I took out Northwood and put in Ware, and then obviously the forester is different. But as we said before, and we'll share it, I'll send it over to Laura as well as the Conservation Commission. Their next meeting is April 14th. And if you'll recall, this is the one that we've talked about for a long time because we had no agreement. And we couldn't find a signed agreement. So this is where we left off, I guess, a while ago. But it will be shared with the Conservation Commission as well as Laura. And if you guys see anything that's wrong, now I will have to, we're gonna have to, once Conservation looks at it, we'll have to update kind of what Meadows End or Jeremy is doing now, as well as the prices. And there is a length of time in there. Northwood did it for 1 year. There was a length of time talked about. I honestly don't remember what it was without looking it up. So we'll have to kind of share that and probably have some joint sessions over it, if that sounds all right with you guys.
Yeah, I do remember there was a lot of discussion about timeline on that. And I want to say that the number was 5 years. Maybe Jack can remember. I think we went 5 years on it.
You're right.
And those numbers looked identical the last time. So I had thought we had signed something, but I guess it never really came to fruition.
No, I think what we left it, this is where we left it so that Laura was gonna provide us one, which she did because we asked her about it.
Okay.
And then she provided this one, of which we changed Northwood to Ware, and we changed their forester to the one that we're using. But like I said, we also agreed that we would share it with everyone, and then it's probably gonna require some putting our heads together in some joint meetings so that we're all on the same page, because it has been a while for everybody.
Yep. Okay.
You're right,
Ricky.
Ricky, it was 5 years, is what we
It
agreed
was
to.
5. We
It's
talked
5
about
years.
10, didn't we? Talk about 10 and then we dropped it back to 5, maybe?
Yeah, we were at a year, then we went to 2, then they were at 10. I think we compromised.
We
5.
compromised at
Yeah.
5. Yep.
Yeah,
I
okay,
think both boards were in agreement at that point.
yeah.
So.
And then, so what I have one more is, I also shared with you the code enforcement building inspector job description.
Yep.
I gave you the ad last week. And then I've also, I don't know if I resent the ad with the job description. It was the same one that mimicked Wilton. Because in your ad, you talk about asking for the job description. All I did was implement where Wilton was.
Yep. Anybody have any comments on it? Now they've had a week to read it.
I think it pretty well covers most of what we're looking for, what I can see.
Yeah, I would agree.
So what the plan would be is to see the only paper of circulation we have kind of left without spending a fortune in the Union Leader And a lot of people do that online now, but the messenger, I could get it over there and they can get it out this Friday
I'm fine with that.
and see where we go from there. So it's okay to advertise.
Yeah.
So on the same note, to bridge the gap, we had reached out to our former, or I reached out just to see what his timeline might be, is our former code enforcement officer, as he is retired. Bradford has taken him back on to help them out. I spoke to him today and he would be interested in no more than 20 hours a week to bridge the gap. So that, because Kyle's last day is Wednesday. So I don't know if you want to make that in a motion. Or should I also, Phil, tell you the other story that's going on?
Oh, you probably have the full story.
Yeah.
So this afternoon, I got a email at 4:57 from Kelly. And it says, Naomi, this is a formal notice of resignation. My last day of employment will be April 9th, 2021. Kelly Dearborn Luce. So we're going to be out, the land use coordinator as well as code enforcement and building. So we got to kind of keep some normalcy. I believe for the interim, I mean, Wendy could jump back in. I think we have enough hands that would be willing to help. It's my understanding that a lot of the April stuff has already gone out as far as abutters notices and applications. But I don't think you ever formally accepted the resignation of Kyle and obviously now of Kelly.
Okay.
I'll make a motion. We accept the resignations.
Is there a second?
Second,
All those in favor by roll call, Chairman Hippel, yes. Vice Chairman Meany,
Yes.
Selectman Burdick,
yes.
Selectman Osborne.
Yes.
Selectman Van,
Yes.
and thank them for their service to the town.
Yeah, and I'll do that. What's going to require though is we're going to have to sit down and see kind of where the most is needed at this point. You know, I have to see what's going on as far as, I have had a handle on what's going on as far as planning and zoning through the Zoom mechanism. So I've had a pretty good handle on that. I just don't know as far as, you know, the building, what's going on with that, but I guess we can work through all of that. But we may have to rethink it and have extra meetings to figure out what we're gonna do, so.
I know they have the planning board has a site walk on the 8th at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, and Pastor Bill is the secretary, so he could take minutes for that site walk.
Right.
And then there's a meeting that night as well, so I knew they did it that night for that same reason.
Right.
I mean, we'll make it through. I certainly will let them know and thank them both. And
Definitely.
we'll go from there. I do have two, actually, I'll throw this one under mine. Is I sent you guys out an email from a Corey Keefe from Eversource. So Eversource is planning on doing all its trimming again here in Ware a good share of the time. So what they do is they try to pick a community and do an Arbor Day in the community that they're working in the most. So he has asked me, in order to give back to one of the communities they're planning to work in, they'd like to do Arbor Day here in Ware. And what that does is they do a community planting of 1 or 2 trees with some members from Eversource, their contractor, which is Asplund, and the town. It can be, you know, planting stuff anywhere. It can be maintenance on a historic tree, cleaning out the crown of the tree by pruning out the old dead wood, because the contractors have bucket trucks. But he's looking at, Arbor Day occurs on Friday, April 30th. It doesn't have to be held that Friday, but he'd like to know when, if you guys have any idea of what you would like to do. And secondly, if you'd like to do it and where you might like to do it. So Selectman
we
Burdick
have
and I
any-
talked a little bit today. Excuse me?
Do we have any historic trees?
I don't know if they lasted today. They're probably historic, but I don't know. My thought, Sherry and I talked this afternoon when she came up to sign the manifest. I don't know if this might be, I know Benji's getting ready to cut a bunch at Chase Park, but would it be nice to plant a couple for shade trees in the future? I don't know. I don't want to put any more in the, if you put some in the center of town, you know, we've got a couple of big ones there that kind of are scary.
Mm.
So I don't know if anybody
Right.
had any thoughts.
I thought that Naomi's suggestion was pretty good because there's no real shade up there along the beach area. So maybe just off of the parking lot area, if there was, you know, a couple, 3 trees put in along the, you know, upper part of the dirt.
Something we can discuss with Park at, when we talk with them about the,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea because we have time. It's not until April 30th. But if you're okay with me reaching out and telling that we're in favor of doing something, we're just gonna pick out, you know, work through the details and let him know. If that works out for you guys.
works for me.
Yeah, that'd be
Works
fine.
works for me. Yeah. I think it'd be good as long as, you know, the park board is also on board with it. I
Yeah.
think, you know, whatever we decide, just share with them.
Yeah, we can talk about that on Monday, but if I let this Corey gentleman know that we're leaning at doing it, then that'll at least let him know and not leave him hanging. That ends what I have. I do have 2 pieces of correspondence when it comes my turn again.
Okay. Well, hopefully Jack and I keep power here because I think we just flashed a couple times, so.
Yeah, it just did. I was getting ready to switch to my phone if I had to.
Right, so we have to step it up a little.
Okay, well, all you got, I'm done.
All right. Does any board member have any correspondence or other business to discuss tonight?
Got one thing.
None for
Yep.
me.
Johnny?
When Kevin Towns came in and to log his mother's property off, he requested permission to widen the gapway.
Yep,
And he said he would replace all those rocks.
okay,
The job is done, his equipment's all gone, and the gapway is the same width as now. I mean, he has not put the rock back in.
okay. Can, Naomi, maybe can you follow up with him and just see if he's got a plan in place?
Sure.
Maybe just want to get him out of there because of
Yep.
road season, I don't know.
Sure.
Okay.
Contact or any interest about the landscaping for the year, the contract?
We've had
Oh.
no interest yet. We actually, I shouldn't say we've had no bids received. Karen had placed or fielded a couple of calls from a couple of people. We sent stuff out. It got put out in the various places, and we've heard nothing more.
Okay.
Okay,
What is the closing date on that, Naomi, that we want other responses back by?
12th, April 12th.
Okay,
So you guys can discuss it at your meeting on the 19th was the plan.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I
We
just
don't
have,
have,
yeah, go ahead.
we don't have a backup plan in case we don't get anyone to bid.
We
Has
don't have
any-
equipment. We don't have anything. So
Right.
no,
rent a few goats.
All right.
as long as the
I'll go
fence,
No, I don't
Sorry.
know. Seriously, I don't know what our plan's gonna be. We'll have to wait and see if we get anything on the 12th. You also gonna have to think about, you know, if you even get a bid and it could be $30,000 more than what you got, you're gonna have to think about that too.
That's kind of what I'm expecting.
Yeah, that's what I
You and me
do.
both.
So,
So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens, but we haven't received anything yet. And
Okay.
I don't know if they took the list, the specifications are there and the list of all 43 cemeteries, I think, are there. So maybe they're out looking around. I don't know.
there's a lot to look
Before,
at.
Yeah.
Okay. Naomi, you had a couple pieces you
So
said?
just, I just want to, in today's mail, I got a special thank you card. And it says, with sincere appreciation, wanted to say a special thank you for the kind words you wrote about Margot in the annual report. It was greatly appreciated by all the family. Kindly, Melanie, and that's her sister, Melanie Knox.
Yep.
And then the last thing I did share with you, and I think it's probably worth putting it on our website. It came from the state in regards to what their plans are for paving on all of their state roads, which is going to hamper traffic in some areas of Ware. So I just thought it's their 2021 paving schedule. And it's to do, they're doing work. It was a fairly large attachment that was with it. But it also said that if we were going to do any crosswalks, that's why they sent it to us, or if we had to do some brightening up of crosswalks or words like paving, that we kind of take a look at that. And then if we want to let them know, we can reach out to them as well. But I thought it was nice that they reached out to us. So there's a huge attachment to it. And it came from a Ronald Grand Mason from DOT.
Perfect. I know the board also received, is that all, you all set, Naomi?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. The board received, along with Conservation Commission, some correspondence about the wells in the south end of town for the Southware Mobile Home Park and I believe Hoyt Mill. Just like I said, we're still looking at it. Sounds like there's some input back and forth. So, like I said, we'll continue to monitor that and go from there.
I believe the first stop is going to be with Conservation on April 14th anyway.
Right.
That's what the plan is. And if you guys are available, it'd be nice for you guys to tune in that evening and kind of listen to what the plan might be. But the direction was to send them to Conservation on April 14th first.
Okay, I would just go ahead and forward the Zoom link right to us, and that way there we all get a friendly reminder, jump on.
Okay, sure. Yep.
Any other correspondence, other business? Entertain.
Make a motion, we adjourn
Second.
before we lose the power.
That's it, before we lose the power. Roll call, Ricky, yes. Jack?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
John Osborne?
Yes.
And John Van. Guess he's already gone.
No, he's there.
Okay,
Nah, I'm getting power flickers here from the tree down.
yeah, all right, but you're a yes?
Yeah, I'm absolutely yes.
Okay, all right, everyone have a good night, thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.